My name is Gusta Johnson, and I am proud to work at the Carnegie Council. The Council has been the voice for ethics in international affairs for nearly a century, but we need your help. To guarantee the future of programs like this one, please give generously to the Council's fund drive. Visit carnegiecouncil.org and click on Donate/Join. Thank you.
Scrap the current income tax, throw it out. In its place, adopt a steeply progressive tax on annual consumption expenditure by the household. This is not a 999 tax or a flat tax like we hear every 4 years from the candidates on the right. This is a progressive consumption tax. The way it works, we would simplify the calculation of disposable income. The flat tax proponents say, oh, this will be so simple you can do your tax return on a postcard. No. What's complicated is how to compute your adjusted gross income. Once you got that, you just look in the tax table. So simplify that. Yes, we need to get rid of all the loopholes and exemptions and deductions that have silted up in the 3.4 million word IRS tax code. Yes. So report your income in this simplified form. Then report how much you saved during the year. We know how to do that from 401k plans and IRAs. The difference between those two numbers, your income minus your saving, that's how much you spent during the year. That's the key step that makes this doable. Then we take off a standard deduction, let's say $30,000 for a family of 4. That's your taxable consumption. The rates start off very low, but then they rise steeply, much, much more steeply than under the current progressive income tax as consumption expenditure rises over the course of the year. So that if, for example, you were already spending $4 million a year, the marginal tax rate might be, hold your breath, 100%, which means simply that if you spend an extra dollar, you'd have to spend not just that dollar, but an extra dollar for the tax on that dollar. So you're thinking about putting an addition on your mansion, $2 million. What we know is that if it were more expensive, you would consider scaling back. New York is the evidence for that. Many people in this room could afford to build much larger living space than you have, but you don't because in New York, living space is expensive per square foot, and everybody scales back because of that. So if you were thinking about building an addition onto your mansion and you suddenly confronted a big tax on the expenditure, you'd scale back. You and others like you would scale back, and here's the magic step, the fiscal alchemy implicit in the tax. If everybody scaled back on his mansion, the smaller additions would serve exactly as well as the bigger ones would have, since it's relative mansion size that matters beyond some point. Can I entertain in the manner that's expected for people in my circle? That's the question. I'm going to guess if somebody knew the right answer, I'd be willing to bet my whole retirement account that if we compared two worlds, one where everybody's mansion was 70,000 square feet, one where it was only 30,000 square feet, the second world, people would be happier. Think of the hassle of managing a property so big, all the tell-all memoirs you have to worry about, the security issues. If the only reason you need a bigger mansion is that people like you have one, then you can step back all of you together and be better off and put those dollars to better uses. What about the CEO who had a $10 million coming-of-age party for his daughter here in New York a few years ago? Let's be charitable. Let's say he just wanted her to have a memorable occasion. Well, I guess he succeeded in grand style, but he raised the bar that everybody else has to meet. Now, the whole process of extra spending at the top, spawned by extra income at the top, has cascaded down, and now everybody has to spend more just to meet the standards of ordinary existence. The house you need to buy to get your kid into the average quality school is 50% bigger now than it was 30 years ago, even though people in the middle don't have more real income than they did 30 years ago. That's waste. It's a libertarian welfare state that I have in mind here. We're going to let the government get involved in trying to steer people's behaviors. We're going to just listen to the complaints about social engineering. Go to any right-wing website and you'll see invective about social engineering. The government's trying to steer my behavior in ways I wouldn't have chosen. That's what we do in society. When your interests are in conflict with the interests of the broader group, we try to steer your behavior in ways that are less in conflict. Stop signs, that's social engineering. Homicide laws, social engineering. If you're going to do social engineering, do it with the lightest possible touch. Tax people. make the things that are too attractive to them less attractive by taxing them. This worked in the environmental domain. When we taxed pollution, we got the cutbacks we were looking for at 1/8 the cost that it was going to take if we did command and control regulation. So the fact that we're doing things so badly now is actually good news. It's bad news and good news. There's a huge bundle of cash on the table that we could harvest and put to better uses just by taking some simple steps to alter people's incentives about how they spend their money.